Alright, we only have a couple of pieces left before the bulk of the primary geometry for the shell is complete. So let's take a quick look at those before we go in and start finalizing some of the various pieces. Now we have the little black piece that fits in here. We've got another piece that fits in up here at the front. We've got the window. The little triangular piece that fits in at the front of the window I'll probably build separately along with the rear view mirror. And we have a little filler piece that is going to connect between the windshield and hood. So, for starters, let's build this piece back here in the back. I'll flip my camera around, and we can kind of get an idea of where that's going to be placed. And it looks like it's going to fit in almost exactly where the drawing says it should. And real quick, as I know I'm jumping between viewports and just kind of looking at several things at once, let's take these pieces over and kind of close in this gap here at the side of the light. That should help that out a little bit. And this piece back here, it's more or less a block with a really cool texture, sort of mesh look to it. I'm sure there's some sort of ventilation that comes through there, but that's not for us to be worried about. If we were going to model out a whole bunch of little vents, we'd crank our poly count up to stupid levels. So, let's start off by creating a polygon cube, like so, and we'll slide it back a little bit, and do a little bit of scaling, adjusting, jumping, jiving, and all those other cool things we do. And we'll scale it out wide to get our approximate width. Let's push it out a little bit further. The works. So we'll say that's a pretty good place to start. Let's give it a few subdivisions in width. Let's go ahead and say about 8, so that we can give any rounding that we may need to. We'll take the right side of it. Goodbye. And really all we need to do is just kind of clean it up and turn it into the shape we need. I will kill off these faces back here at the back. We don't need them. They are unnecessary. And take another look over at this guy. Just kind of see how it fits inside. Let's grab vertices back here at the back. I'll push these forward. We can grab these vertices here along the front, slide them back. We've got some rounding to attend to, so we can kind of grab these a segment at a time and pull them back like so. It's a fairly simple piece. Have it done in no time. And let's see. See, this kind of fits just inside of it. I would like to maybe cap off this piece here, though I imagine we're going to be tweaking such to the point where that will no longer be a major concern to us. I will grab these edges and let's extrude them back a little bit just to create some thickness in case we need it to hide any sort of gappage and whatnot. It looks like we will need to grab the lower vertices on this object and pull them forward because there's sort of a slant to this whole thing. Now there's some rounding here that we need to kind of adjust and tweak out on our final model. I still haven't quite decided. I may break this up and turn this into one piece and this into a separate piece, but I'll just kind of play with that once I get to finalizing that area. Now, notice my use of terminology. I'm not saying to you guys that we're going to be tweaking those areas, because the way I've been trying to run this course is that you don't necessarily have to watch a video where all I'm going to be doing is tweaking. But if I'm doing more than tweaking, if I'm adding geometry and whatnot, then I call them finalizing, so that you will go in there and hopefully watch at least some of it so you're not completely taken by surprise. Now I'm going to pull all these edges up to help kind of fill in a little bit of the gappage we have back here. Let's grab our split edge ring tool, and let's add a little bit of horizontal detail. It doesn't look like it wants to let me. Oh, I already had the split polygon tool out. So let's try this again. Q and split edge ring tool. There we go. That's what I wanted. And let's jump back over here to the photo. So this, kind of indents inward. So there's a general trapezoidal shape to this whole thing. And I could be mad, but it also looks like there's some indentation down at the bottom of it. So just have to keep that in mind. Now, over here, let's grab these verts and we'll slide them over. Grab these verts, we'll slide them over. And something about like that I think will work just fine. The whole thing could probably be brought backwards, or at least maybe just these prominent faces. I'll just tug that back, give it a little more oomph. We can see it a little better. And let's grab that split edge ring tool again, and we'll put a split down here. Now I'm going to grab all of the vertices here along the very bottom. I don't want you, I just want the verts on the bottom, and we'll push these back in so we can create that little indentation that takes place there on the bottom of that object. Boy, that is the bulk of this object as far as I can tell. This little area here looks like it might protrude out slightly, only where this is indented. So we will have some tweaking to do there, but we'll get to that because we're going to be finalizing this pretty much a piece at a time. Let's make sure that we close in any of these nasty gaps that we have. So we'll just kind of push these forward. I think that's going to work for the time being. Alright, now let's roll up here to the front. And we've got a similar piece, the same kind of material that we need to put up here at the front. And if I zoom way in here, actually I got a different version of that same image that's at a higher res. There we go. And if we zoom here, we get a really good feel for what this is. It's more or less a straight piece that fits really nicely into that hole with a little gap down at the bottom. And what we're going to do is we'll have one nice relatively flat panel and then another flat panel behind it that's just recessed back a little further. For our purposes, that should work out very well. Before we get a rollin', let's kind of double check the shape of things to come. We'll be building that panel right along in here, and it looks like maybe it'd be a good idea to grab some edges. Let's just grab this one, I'll frame up on it so we can pivot about, and pull these back so that we don't end up with too much of a gap when we wrap this up. So we'll push these back, something like so. And to create this puppy, I'm also, hang on, I know I've just about started something. Let me pull these back just a little bit as well. Just a matter of preference. Okay, now to create this, I'm just going to start off with a simple polygon, which we could probably create in the front view. So let's use our little toggle and jump over to the front view. And let's see here, if I go back to object mode, deselect, right mouse, create polygon tool, and we go boom, 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 boom. Yay. That's it, it's over. Let's see, modify, center pivot, and fly forward. Awesome. And let's see, we'll push this back. And not too far back. Actually, that was not bad. These guys need to come forward, though. So you and you do that. Now, of course, we need to add some detail here, but let's pull these down a little bit further. And you can kind of see what we're looking at. These maybe pull even more forward. So they're kind of in line with the front of this piece. Now, of course, we're going to need some detail to, if for nothing else, to make this match the curvature at this piece. One quick thing, let's take this vertex. You, behave. I want you to be over here. And you can come slightly forward. That's right. Alright, now. Good old split edge ring tool. Gotta love this thing. You go here, and then give me one here as well. And that's what we'll use for starters. Now, vertex. Move tool options, go to normal. See, now if we move in the V direction, we're not breaking the planarity of this piece. How awesome is that? Here we can just tug this out. Looks like we could use some more horizontal detail, so I'll hit Y, bam, And I don't think I really need one down here. I don't really mind this running right into the geometry. I don't think that's going to hurt anything. So we'll slide this out in U, maybe tug this out just a little bit in U. And if I back off and deselect, well, that's doing the job, as they say. Now all we got to do is grab these edges and we'll extrude them. Let's go straight back in Z world. Boom. Hit G. Now we'll bring these straight down in Y world. Oh, it's amazing. Look at us go, creating geometry and beautiful models. And really, that's the bulk and size and breadth of it. Just for preference's sake, we're not going to have to smooth this. We can keep this at just a few polygons, and it'll do its job. Remember, it's mostly a black thing that, in most pictures you see of a Lamborghini, does a real good job of just absorbing some light. So you put a decent texture on that down the road, and it'll do the job for you. But we will bevel this guy out. Whoa, I don't know what it just tried to bevel, but that was crazy. Let's make our selection again and try a second time. Beveling, that time it worked. I don't know what just happened, but I won't let it wear me down too much. I might add just one more segment in here, something kind of like that, and oh yeah, we are fancy. Maybe I'll just increase that offset just a little bit. Wah. Very fancy. Now, hold down Shift, right mouse, soften, harden, and let's just, for the time being, try softening the whole thing. A little bit, maybe too much softening in a couple of areas, but that's okay. Doesn't look half bad. Let me see if I... Does it matter if I harden that edge, I wonder? I didn't think so. So what I'll do is let's just start here. I'll take these edges, and if I harden them, does that help anything? Everything but that corner, and I don't like that corner being all nastified there, so maybe we'll just harden this edge. I don't know what I'm so worried about, though. Oh, look, there's a black triangle on something that's going to be black all the time. Yeah. Panic mode, right? Nah, we won't worry about it. Looks good to me. So there we are with that in place. Now, if we take another look, just to be on the safe side, I guess if you really wanted to, you could argue that there's probably a wee bit of rounding on this. I mean, by, like, if I were to take these vertices and, you know, bring them forward, like so, and then maybe grab all these vertices and bring them forward like so. So there's just the tiniest bit of rounding there, and that's more than enough to keep the natives happy, I think. So we can definitely roll with that. Get it? Car, roll. Let's see. Yeah, that's done. That's done. Let's do something about the window. Now, again, we have this triangular piece that I'll be building separately along with a rear view mirror of some sort. So what we'll do is we'll build a nice window that just fills in this gap. Not a problem, he said. Here we go. Where to begin? Well, let's see. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 segments. That's right. And let's see. Can we use that to our advantage? Maybe, you think? I'm going to check something. There's that, which is looking really good. I think the only thing I'll tweak out later is something going on up here in this corner. I don't like that overly rounded look. This little blind spot looks pretty happy, though. I don't really have a problem with it. I do like the amount of rounding it has. Don't know if it has too much or too little at the moment. We'll deal with that shortly. I'm thinking. Right, I'm through thinking. I'm going to go ahead and create a new polygon. Put that away. So, create polygon tool, side view, and I'm not even going to snap to anything. We'll just create, boom, dropping points almost arbitrarily, and let's say that works. And we'll slide this over. And I wanted to actually create that right up against the blind spot, but I was following the drawing and not my actual model, so let's fix that presently. Like so. And then we'll grab these vertices and we'll pull these inward. Oh, yeah. And we have the world's least rounded window, which we'll fix. We'll pull that about halfway through the little drop-down stairway layer panel thing there. And we'll pull this about halfway through the middle of the blind spot up here, but still sticking down into the door. Okay, yeah, awesome. And, yeah, let's see. Let's grab edges, and I'll extrude this edge. So, let's see. Let's, Q, edge, U, and extrude this edge. Slide forward. And I'm kind of going along with the number of edges I see here on the top of the door so I can match the detail up little by little. And I'm not too worried about matching it on the bottom because that's primarily straight. If you're off by a little bit, it won't really matter because of the nature of how the window is. And I'll just pull these and probably go about to there, just following the curvature that I see. And one more, and that'll get us all the way to where the window ends. So we got this really nasty piece of geometry that we now need to kind of fit into our window. So we'll start off simple, and we'll just place this. Right. My placement is going to be a little bit on the precise side, so watch. See if I can demonstrate as best I can. Let's grab this leading edge right here on the outside of this, we'll call it the window gasket. And so what I want to do is place my vertex just underneath that in this view. So if I were to grab, let's see, where's my windshield? There it is. Let's grab vertices. So this one's already right where I want it to be. This one will pull down like so, and like so, and like so, all the way down the road. Oh yeah. And I'll pull this one down a little bit. Okay, now down here, all we really want is for them to be going through the door, but since I don't want things to be crazy, I'll line them up a little bit in this view. And we can pull this forward just a tad, pull this back, and there we go. In fact, we can also push it a little bit beyond, because if it, sticks into that triangle, that's fine. We'll just make sure we get a nice seal. And you want your windows to be sealed, don't you? Of course you do. Okay, now here, it looks like I should have pulled these down a little bit further. I'll make sure I hit that. I'll use that edge there on the door kind of as a guide. See if that works just for now. Now, I'll probably have to move these around in the x-axis to get them right where I want them. For example, pull this about halfway through that gasket. Pull this as well, etc. Pull that up just a tad. Spend enough time tweaking this, you're going to end up with something round enough so that it'll work just fine if later on you want to go down the window. But whether or not you want to flip that extender is up to you and what you need your car. Remember, as a modeler, ask questions. When you're assigned to do something, if somebody just says, I need you to make me a car, your next word should not be okay. Your next word should be, what is this car going to be doing? Is the car going to be driving? Is it parked? Do pieces of it need to open? Do we need to see the engine? You need to know everything. Because there's no point in modeling out the engine of a car if nobody's ever going to pick up the hood. Just like there's no point in modeling out the suspension system if the camera's never going to get up inside the wheel well and show it to anybody. Alright, that's enough ranting on that. And let's see here. Let us grab the split edge ring tool and look at that. Boom, with a boom and another boom. Yeah. I am impressed. And now we can just start grabbing some vertices. Let's go over to good old normal mode on our move tool and start pulling, doing the thing with the stuff. Oh yeah. Now, one thing that you can do, and check this out, because this is actually kind of cool, and this is combining some of the other techniques that we've been using at this point. We could come in here and grab the create menu, get that good old EP curve tool that we put to substitute these two points, and we could snap. Now, we can't see what's going on, can we? No. And that's because we have to go show and switch verbs curve button. It's possible you guys saw something. We already got curve mode. Let's just kind of use it. Could take CDs and curvature. And we have a curve here that we kind of like to create. So, we're going to open the window and create one EP. Another one. And I need to remind myself to set that tool back to cubic. In the meantime, I'll just rebuild this curve. So edit curve, rebuild curve, and make sure to have an actual curve selected. Choose. All I did was I built that back up. So now check this out. Beautiful, sensual curvature. Those descriptions, I'm just excited. Okay, and there's already one curve there that we don't know, so I'll just kind of ignore it. Press Y, and boom. Boom, down here at the bottom. And then we see similar curvature, so this out. Skipping one because you can probably infer the shape. I'm thinking that if I get every other edge, I'll be able to eyeball it. If you want to make a window that you can roll down naturally, you're probably going to have some nice that should go without saying. Me, I'm not too worried about that, so I'm going to move the window up in my case. You guys are all jamming enough with the mom that I just fit I remember that it was like down. Now, this little spacey guy up here. Let's see if I come in here and I grab some stuff, which should actually be really piece to build. And that, I like that. I really do. Let's deselect everything. Let's grab the create polygon tool. And let's say kablam, kablam, and more kablams as well. And here we go with the vertices that we will now pull down underneath the level of the hood, because there's a slight little gap there. We're going to go like these, and we'll pull them up a little bit, push them back over the top of the windshield very slightly. Very nice. And I know. Oh, if you hit Alt and Spacebar, you always get this. Okay, let's extrude this edge, and we're going to pull it out. But here, notice I'm just kind of following more of the curvature of the windshield. This should be a real simple piece. Maybe I'll pull it back, and we'll follow more of the curvature of the hood. So we'll hit G, and we'll pull to right up here, and some more right here. Now, I'm just putting in a lot of detail, and then I'll plan on tweaking it all out. Check this out. I think we're going to move that a little bit too far. So just grab world mode and just the reason I'm dipping down to the windshield is it's very difficult to tell your elevation. Like the same shading, the same shading. You can hit the line of frame view, and that doesn't really help either. And my graphic views will be a little bit convoluted at the moment while there's edges, so I find that just push the line to the windshield and pull back up works really well. Really, with that, I think that's going to be it for the time being. We've got really all of the main pieces of our body all in place, and now it's time to just kind of go through and finalize each of the pieces so we're happy with them. I mean, some areas, we know we're going to have to do a little bit of tweaking. Other areas might just be do some beveling and adjust some creases, and then give a thumbs up on the smooth, and we're done. So lots of work ahead of us, but I think we're on a downhill stretch. So that's going to wrap it up for this video.